The jungle moon of Velos Prime was the kind of place that swallowed sunlight whole. Thick canopies twisted overhead like interlocked fingers, and every shadow seemed to breathe. My mission was simple: deliver medical equipment to Outpost Orin, check on the wounded, and return before the planet's nocturnal predators started screaming their nightly chorus. It should have been simple, but nothing ever stayed simple on Velos Prime. My boots sank slightly into the violet moss as I pushed through the last barrier of trees. I could already see the shimmer of the outpost shield in the distance, just a 10-minute walk away. Relief settled over me. Then a branch cracked behind me. A soft, deliberate sound. Not the skittering of the small, six-legged fauna. Not the heavy thud of a predator. Someone was following me. I tightened my grip on my shock staff but kept walking. You didn't survive long on Velos by panicking. Another sound, this time to my right. I spun, staff raised. That was when she stepped into view. Tall, lean, beautiful in a sharp-edged way that was almost painful to look at. Her skin bore luminous stripes like living nebulae, swirling faintly in the gloom. I recognized the species instantly. Xerathi, a warrior race feared for their brutal efficiency. But there was something different about her. Xerathi warriors usually carried themselves with crushing arrogance, radiating confidence in every movement. She, however, approached slowly, almost hesitantly. The air hummed between us. She stopped a few steps away, her glowing eyes studying my face. When she spoke, her voice was soft, a melodic contrast to her fearsome reputation. "Human," she whispered. "Do you fear my face?" The question pierced the silence so deeply that even the jungle seemed to pause. Before I could respond, she looked down, her jaw tightening, not with anger, but embarrassment. Shame. That wasn't something Xerathi were known to feel. And that was when I realized she wasn't here to kill me. Middle, the outcast secret. "Why would I fear you?" I asked cautiously. She didn't meet my eyes. Most do. Her name, she told me, was Zera, though she spoke it like a burden. She was an exile, cast out from her clan for something she refused at first to explain. Her posture was rigid with the instinctive discipline of a trained fighter, but her voice trembled with uncertainty, as if she feared my answer more than any weapon I might draw. I'd seen fear in soldiers, in civilians, in myself. But not like this. "Look at me," she said. "Look properly." She tilted her head, letting the faint glow of her stripes illuminate the bone-like ridges across her cheeks and forehead. Her features were intimidating, yes, angular, alien, intense, but not grotesque. "You're not frightening," I said simply. Her breath hitched. "You lie." "I don't." She studied me carefully, as though trying to detect the smallest hint of deception. "My clan called me malformed," she said at last. "My markings are wrong. My ridges too pronounced. They said I looked cursed. Unfit for mating. Unfit for war. Unfit for anything." Her words shook more with every sentence until she finally stopped speaking. I felt something twist inside me. Anger, protective instinct, maybe both. Humans weren't strangers to cruelty, but Xerathi's standards were notoriously brutal. "You tracked me to ask if I fear you?" I asked. "No," she paused. "I tracked you because I saw you defend one of my people last week. The old scout with the broken arm. You helped him, even though he is not your kind. That's my job." "No," she said softly. "It was kindness. And I wanted to know if a human of all beings would see me as monstrous." That explained it. The stories were true. Xerathi exiles wandered the wilds, rarely surviving long. Zera must have been watching the outpost from afar for days, mustering the courage to approach. But still, something felt off. "Zera," I said carefully. Why do this now? Why find me here alone? She hesitated a long time before answering. Because the outpost is in danger. My heart lurched.
What?
A squad of raiders, she said. Not Zirathai.
Worse.
They plan to strike before dawn. I heard them in the northern ridge. They know humans are there. My blood went cold. And you're telling me this because? Because I owe you a debt. And because, she faltered, because I wish to belong somewhere again. She looked at me with those glowing eyes, vulnerability naked across her face. My next choice could kill me, but I nodded. Then let's protect the outpost together. Her expression softened, just barely. The attack and the truth of Zara. We moved through the forest quickly, quietly. Zara guided me with expert ease, knowing every route, every scent trail, every breath the jungle exhaled. When we reached the ridge, we saw them. Carex marauders. Horrific insectoid raiders who carved out settlements through carnage alone. There were 8, heavily armored, heavily armed. No way we could take them head-on. I turned to Zara. We need help from the outpost. No time. They will strike now. Then what do you suggest? She gave me a look so intense it pinned me in place. I will fight. All of them. She didn't answer. Just stepped forward into the clearing. I grabbed her arm. Zara, that's suicide. She shook her head.
No.
This is why I was exiled. She stepped farther away and whispered. I was not cast out because I was weak. I was cast out because I was too strong. Her markings suddenly pulsed brighter, glowing like molten stars. The ridges on her face sharpened as her muscles tightened beneath her skin. Zirathai cannot lie about strength. It's woven into their biology. Their bodies react instinctively, broadcasting truth through luminescence. And Zara was glowing like wildfire. The Carex spotted her and screeched, their pincers clacking in alarm. Before they could aim their weapons, she let out a roar that shook the trees. Then she moved. And gods, she moved fast. One moment she was beside me. The next, she was across the ridge, shattering a raider's armor with a single strike. She fought like a falling star, blinding, unstoppable. Raiders fired plasma bolts, but she dodged with impossible agility, closing in and ripping weapons from their claws. I could only watch, stunned. She wasn't just strong, she was terrifyingly efficient. One raider tried to flank her. I struck it with my shock staff before it could fire. It turned toward me, screeching, but Zara pounced, tearing it away before it could strike. Within minutes, the entire squad was down. Zara stood panting, glowing faintly, covered in dust and scorched armor, but unhurt. I walked toward her, speechless. She stared at her hands in disbelief. I have never been allowed to fight like this, she whispered. They feared what I could do. They feared you because you're powerful, I said. Not ugly, not malformed. They exiled you because they were threatened. Her breathing trembled. Her glow softened. Do you still not fear me? She asked quietly. I stepped closer.
No.
I respect you. She froze. No one had ever spoken to her like that, human or Zirathai. Ending, a new place to belong. We returned to the outpost before nightfall. When the guards saw the bodies of the raiders we dragged behind us, whispers swept through the camp. Humans stared at her in awe. Even the Zirathai scouts lowered their eyes in respect. Zara stood tense beside me, expecting rejection. Instead, Commander Hale approached us with a rare look of approval. You saved us, he said simply. Both of you. Zara swallowed hard. I only wish to repay kindness. He nodded. Then repay it by staying. We need fighters like you. Her eyes widened. I watched hope ignite in her expression, slowly, cautiously, like a sunrise she wasn't sure she deserved. Later, as the outpost settled, she approached me quietly. Human, she murmured, I asked you earlier if you feared my face. I remember. She looked away, stripes glowing faintly. Do you truly not? I stepped closer, so our eyes met. You're not someone to fear, Zara, I said softly. You're someone to trust. Her breath shuddered, her glow warming. And someone to stand with, I added. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she whispered, Then maybe I am not cursed after all. From that night onward, she trained beside us, protected us, belonged with us. And whenever she walked the outpost paths, glowing proudly in the dim light, no one dared call her weak or monstrous again. Not after seeing the truth. Not after seeing what she was capable of. And sometimes, when the jungle winds were quiet and the stars hung low, she would walk beside me, her voice barely above a whisper as she asked, Do you still not fear me even now? And I would always answer, Never.